video, I will explain chapter 2, carbon compound, which is one of the homework series, alcohol. But before that, let's look at a few examples of items that are produced from alcohol, such as the antiseptic, the perfume, and also for alcohol, it can be used as a solvent. So one of the applications of the use of alcohol that can relate to our daily life is the use of hand sanitizer. So if you realize there are a different type and different brand of hand sanitizer are available now, such as Dettol and also Antibac. So if you look at the content of hand sanitizer, one of the active ingredients will be ethyl alcohol, which is 62% here. So usually the percentage of the content of alcohol in hand sanitizer will be more than 60%. That is fulfill the requirement of KKN, or we call it Kementerian Kesihatan Malaysia. So in order for the hand sanitizer to function. So one thing to bear in mind and to be careful is that for alcohol, it is flammable, so you must keep away alcohol content product from the heat. So next, there are three things that we need to know and understand about alcohol. So first of all, for alcohol, it is a non-hydrocarbon. Why? Let's say that one example will be the ethanol with a molecular formula of C2H5OH. So if you look at the molecular formula, you will see that it contains carbon atom, it contains hydrogen atom, and at the same time there will be oxygen atom. So this is what we call it as non-hydrocarbon because it contains carbon, hydrogen, and also oxygen atom. So if you recall, for hydrocarbon, it only contains carbon and also hydrogen atom. So for the functional group of alcohol, it is the hydroxyl group, or we call it as the OH group. And then for the general formula is CnH2n plus 1 OH, whereby the N starts for 1, 2, 3, and so on. So say that when N equal to 1, so the formula will be C1H and then 2 multiplied by 1 plus with 1 OH. So the formula will become CH3OH, and this is what we call it as methanol. So there are a few things that we need to take note and memorize when you want to give the iPad name for the alcohol. So first of all, you need to determine the number of carbon atoms in the longest carbon chain that contain the hydroxyl group, or in other words, you need to find the parent chain that have the highest, or we call it the largest carbon atom. And then for the second step is that you need to determine the position of hydroxyl group, whether the hydroxyl group is located at carbon number 1, carbon number 2, or carbon number 3, and so on. So here, as you can see, there are two examples here. The first one is 1-propanol, and the second one is 2-propanol. So here, as you can see, the longest chain, or we call it the parent chain, it have 3 carbon atoms, so we name it as propanol. And then if you see the structure formula, you will see that the hydroxyl group, or we call it the OH group, is located as carbon number 1. This is carbon number 1, the first carbon atom, the second carbon atom, and also the third carbon atom. So here, since the hydroxyl group is located at the first carbon atom, we will name it as 1-propanol. For the second case here, the hydroxyl group is located at carbon number 2, so we name it as 2-propanol. So one more thing that we need to take note and remember and to avoid this kind of mistake is that for structure formula A and structure formula B, if you observe that for structure formula A, the carbon is connected to the oxygen atom, and then for structure formula B, the carbon is connected to the hydrogen atom, and this is wrong because for the hydroxyl group, the carbon atom must be connected to the oxygen atom, which is something like this, and you cannot write this. So bear in mind and try to avoid this kind of mistake. So here, in the coming two slides, I will explain the first 6 members of alcohol. So when there is only one carbon atom, we will name it as methanol. So the molecular formula will be CH3OH. If I were to draw the structure formula of the methanol, it will look something like this, with 1 carbon atom, and here we have 3 hydrogen atoms and 1 hydroxyl group. And this is what we call it as methanol. And next, when there is 2 carbon atoms, the molecular formula will be C2H5OH, and we name it as ethanol, and this is the structure formula. When there is 3 carbon atoms, the molecular formula will be C3H7OH, and for this case, we will name it as propanol. And as you can see at the structure formula, there will be 3 carbon atoms here. So the longest chain, or we call it the parent chain, that contain the largest carbon atoms is the 3 carbon atoms. So this is propanol. So next, when there is 4 carbon atoms, we will name it as protanol. The molecular formula will be C4H9OH, and the structure formula will look something like this, where the parent chain have 4 carbon atoms, and you will see that the hydroxyl group is located at carbon number 1. So, or you can name it as 1-butanol because the hydroxyl group is located at carbon number 1. And when there is 5 carbon atom, we will name it as pentanol, and the molecular formula is C5H11OH. And the structure formula will look something like this, where there is the parent chain have 5 carbon atom, and there is 11 hydrogen atom with 1 hydroxyl group. And the last one, it has 6 carbon atoms, so we name it as hexanol with the molecular formula C6H13OH, and the structure formula will look something like this. So that's all for alcohol. Thank you.